Chapter 3. Tess. Brain tumor? Are you sure? I am sitting in Samuel's office so that he can make sense of the test results for me, but I still can't seem to make the words work in my head. How could she have a brain tumor? My mother isn't as young as she used to be, but she's barely over 50 and in good shape. Samuel nods, and I try not to drown in the sympathetic blue depths of his eyes.
That's what the neurosurgeon said. He wants to do a biopsy, but he believes it might be benign.
A seed of hope sprouts in my chest. That's good, right? If it's benign, it won't need surgery or radiation.
Probably not radiation, but it will still need to be removed. The tumor appears to be pressing on a nerve, which is what is causing your mother's headache and nausea. If we leave it alone, her symptoms will never get better and could end up getting worse.
The sprout of hope turns black and withers away. So what does that entail? He shakes his head.
It's not my area of expertise, and we can't do it here. She can stay here for the biopsy and until he decides on a course of treatment, but then she will be moved to a hospital for the procedure. I know it generally involves a short hospital stay after the surgery and follow-up visits.
Do you have any idea how long she will be out of commission? I want to be there for my mother, but the cupcake shop is so small that we don't have any other workers. I suppose I could shut the shop down for a few days, but the money hasn't been rolling in as it is. I'm afraid if I shut the doors that we may lose the few customers we have.
My guess would be a week, but I really don't know.
He rises from his chair and walks around the desk to where I'm sitting. His hand reaches out to me, and I place mine in his. With a smooth movement, he pulls me up and against his chest. His strong arms encircle my waist, and I allow myself to be vulnerable for a moment, placing my head on his chest. I can hear his heartbeat, and the woodsy scent of his cologne nestles itself in my memory. I had pictured this moment, what it would feel like to be in his arms, but it was always followed by a passionate kiss. Now I can't imagine that kiss. The need for passion has fled, replaced with worry for my mother. But I do appreciate the feeling of security that his arms give. If only I knew what to do from here.
This is a lot to take in, he says, moving one hand from my back to the back of my head. I promise you, though, that we will do everything we can for your mother.
I nod, but for the first time in my life, I am scared.
Samuel. Thanks for coming, I say, glancing around the room. I'm not exactly sure what to do to help Tess, but I hope these people, my family and friends, will have some ideas.
What's going on, Samuel? Is this about Tess?
Kirsten has her arms folded across her chest. I know she will be my toughest opposition, but I will probably need the most help from her.
Let him speak.
Hannah, my other sister, speaks up from the other side of the room. Demure and quiet, Hannah is the epitome of a librarian stereotype. She is also much calmer than Kirsten and willing to listen. Kirsten's lips purse together, but she waves her hand for me to continue. Tess just found out her mother has a brain tumor. Molly and Hannah gasp, and Kirsten has the decency to look chagrined. The doctor believes it's benign, but it will have to be removed because it's pressing on a nerve. Her mother can barely get out of bed. It will require a hospital stay, and Tess wants to be there for her mother.
What can we do?
Hannah asks. I take a deep breath. I'm hoping they will be open to this idea, but it hinges on Kirsten. Tess will have to be away from the shop for a few days, maybe a week. You guys know how fast business can disappear if you aren't open in a small town like this. I was hoping you guys might help me run her shop until she's back. The girls and my high school friends Jim and Trevor exchange glances. I know I'm asking a lot, but I hope they will agree. I know that we would all do it if Kirsten had to shut down her coffee shop for a bit, or Hannah the library, or even Jim, who runs the insurance agency in town.
I can help in the mornings, Hannah says. Kelsey, who recently graduated, is home right now, and she's been working a few hours. I can have her come in a little earlier and give you a few hours.
I can cover a few hours around lunchtime, Jim says with a nod. It's generally our slowest time, and my receptionist can handle the calls until I return. Thank you.
I turn my gaze to Kirsten, Molly, and Trevor. I can do some baking, Molly says. I assume we're going to need inventory?
Baking? I hadn't even thought of that, but of course we will need products.
What if we sell her cupcakes out of our coffee shop? Kirsten asks. I hesitate, but Kirsten continues. Hear me out. If we all go to her shop, there will probably only be one person there at a time. However, if we bring the cupcakes to our coffee shop, Molly and I will be there all day, and everyone else can stop in and help. That will allow Molly to bake during the day if needed as well.
She does have a point, Trevor says. I don't have big chunks of time, but if others were there, I could stop in between my appointments. You'd be willing to do that for Tess? I ask Kirsten. I still worry that if we close her store, even with a sign letting customers know what is going on, that it will hurt her business. But Kirsten does make sense. She shakes her head.
No, but I'll do it for you.
Okay then, I'll float the idea to Tess, and I'll let you all know when we will start.